here for the first time, we are covering the 7 skills that are covered in Eric Worre's book. Now, these 7 skills are necessary for massive success. It is interesting that some people have become successful in network marketing and in isogenics, especially in isogenics without having all the 7 skills. But if you want to have a really solid business and a very long-term business, then those 7 skills are for you. And in reality, they are really simple to master. It is a question of practicing them. But anyway, today we are going to be doing the skill number 1. Last week we covered the different kind of people, and we are kind of talk a little about them. Before we start, make sure you have the book or CDs by Eric Worre. You can buy them in Amazon.com or isasalestools.com. Now, read the corresponding chapter the same week. For example, this week we have skill number 1. That's chapter 4, if I am correct. Yep, that skill is found in chapter 4. Now, as I said last week, most of what I'm going to be talking about is basic on the book. However, many of the things are not in the book itself. It is why this is not a substitute for the book, but this is a supplement. If you want to have the whole picture, make sure you have the 2 of them. And now, posers and amateurs. Last week we talked about posers, amateurs, and also professionals. Now, this is the way that they approach the list. Last week we mentioned how posers approach prospecting. They really never had a list. They may think about a few people they have in their head, but they rarely make a serious list. So usually they rarely sponsor more than 1 person, if any. Now, amateurs, they may make an initial list, but they do not update it. So they tend to run out of people really fast. Some amateurs have become successful in isogenics, and the reason is because the way that our pay plan is set up. However, again, if you want long-term success, make sure you are going to be a professional. Now, most people, including myself, started in this industry as a poser or amateur. I think my first approach, the first time that I heard about network marketing, I was a poser. I thought I could just go crazy. I was approaching this business with a lottery mentality. And as you know, this is not a lottery. It's a serious business, although simpler than any other business that I've ever seen. Now, professionals never run out of people. Now, in the following slides, you will learn why they do according to Eric Worre. Again, I'm going to be adding some of my thoughts, but it's going to be really interesting. I love this book. Now, first, make a comprehensive list. This is really important. Make a list of everybody you know. And this is interesting because many people are resistant to that. And the reason, again, because they have the mentality of poser or amateur. They come with 10 names or 15 names, but they don't come with a really comprehensive list. And this list doesn't matter who you have. Could be positive or negative people. It doesn't matter if they are successful or not. It doesn't matter if they are 18-year-old or 102 years old. By the way, obviously 18 years old because it's when we can, a person 18-year-old can sign a contract and start building their business. But anyway, let me go back here. This is really important, guys. Make a list of everybody that you can find on isogenicsbusiness.com and also in howtogetgoing.com. You can download a memory jogger, and this is really important because with the memory jogger, you can, the reason called memory jogger is because you can add new people. But again, you cannot discharge anybody because again, you don't know. You don't know. Now, let me tell you one thing, and this is interesting. Most people, when they make a comprehensive list, this is who they leave out. They leave successful people out, and they leave people that are really negative. Either way is no ideal, but especially successful people. And the reason is because we start thinking that they don't need this business. And let me tell you one thing, successful people always are looking for multiple streams of income. Why do you think John Gray, after selling millions of books, Men from Mars and Women from Venus, he joined Isogenics? He loved an extra income. As a matter of fact, he happened to be one of the millionaires in Isogenics. And the same happened with many other people that have joined Isogenics. They have successful businesses, but they are looking for ways to diversify. The biggest mistake that many people made, again, is not to approach them when these are people that are already, they have the mindset of creating incomes. And the most important thing that we have to have in order to be successful is the millionaire mindset. And these people in general, they have a lot of that mindset, yet what they have to do is just to switch to this business. And it's why I make sure that people understand that successful people are probably our best prospects on potential-wise. Now, if a person has not been successful, still we are going to write it down, or a person is negative, but successful people are really important, or people that are really well connected, people that really, all of them. But again, the reason we are going to write everybody's name is because it's not who they know. It is who they know, excuse me. It's not them, but it's who they know. And this is really important. Who do they know? It's interesting because in the first company in network marketing that I was, there was a guy that I sponsored that he really was not a people's person. He had a terrible personality. However, he brought some people, and something I did, I kept in contact with them because I knew with the personality that this first guy that I sponsored, a lot of people want to quit, and a lot quit. They didn't want to work with him. But anyway, I stay in contact with them, and that became my strongest leg in that company. That company filed for bankruptcy eventually, but I got about 8,000 people after this guy came into the business. I think it took me about a year to have 8,000, probably a little more than a year to get 8,000 people from that leg. And again, he was a person that's negative, complaining all the time, but he sponsors some people. I stick with them myself, with the people that he sponsored, and suddenly I have a great organization. And we have it in all over Isogenics, examples of people that sponsor somebody, and then that person sponsors somebody, or that person sponsors somebody, and then become really successful. A good example, my strongest leg doesn't start until about, probably at least 7 or 8 levels down of people. Many of them quit until we got a leader, and that leader got another leader, and suddenly that leg has something like 8 or 9 millionaires right now. But it started about 8, 9, 10 level. Now, by the way, that's cool in Isogenics because most companies pay only 8, 9 levels. If I would be in another company, I would be missing most of the people. But again, this is important. Who do they know? Go through everybody in your list. Who they possibly know, who they work for. And that's, I mean, it's a tremendous exercise to do. Now, and this is because, I don't know, you heard the 6 degrees of separation. This is a theory actually from Columbia University, and I took a screenshot from one of the websites. Columbia University, what it said, that within 6 generations, we can get in contact with everybody on the planet. And basically what I'm saying is that when you sponsor somebody, it's not as much who they are, but who they sponsor, or who they know, because you can get to incredible people. And many people say, well, I don't know networkers, or I don't know people that are business people. Within 1 or 2 degrees or 1 or 2 generations, you are closer to people that can build your business. And that's why when you understand this, they call it a small world theory. And this is interesting because it's been proven by Columbia University several times. Now with social media, it's even much stronger. You can connect with so many people to social media. It has happened that people that connect with me, they say, oh, I heard about you because, and then it's a long chain of people that eventually one of them knew me and another one knew me, and that's the way that we connect. But it's why it's so powerful, understand the theory, because when you understand the theory, and by the way, this is also in the book, I mean, you can be really successful, especially in this business. Now, the next one, the number 3, is constantly expand your list, and that's the third thing that, again, people that are successful do. Again, the first one, just write everybody you know. The second one is not who you know, is who they know. And the third one, in other words, you're going to find out who they possibly know. And the third one, constantly expand your list. This is something else that professionals always do, and there are many ways to do it. Now, save the information of everybody you meet in person by phone or online, and this is so important because we meet a lot of people, but we never write down, and I have fallen in that category. Many times I forgot to write down the names of people, and I say, oh, shoot, who was the person, and I didn't write down the name, or I didn't ask for a business card. One of the things that Eddie Worre talked about, McKay, I forgot his name right now, but he had written many books, and at one point he was one of the owners of I think was the Minnesota Vikings, This guy, he has a list of over 12,000 people that knows him, and the reason is because he learned earlier in his career to save the name of everybody. He makes sure that he has the birthday time, the date, and etc. And then he kept in contact with them. And he said his list is so big that he can basically contact anybody for anything. That's why it's so important to save the names of people. Now, save them in your phone, Rolodex, computer, or anything you choose. You can be even have cards that many people do that. And this is so powerful, so important. When we talk about follow-up, we are going to go a little more into this. And that would be skill number 4, I think. But anyway, this is a really, really powerful thing that everybody has to do, because when you do it consistently, when you're adding people every day to your list, probably at least 2 per day, you are going to have an incredible amount of people. You cannot run out of people after you do this. Plus, especially if you're keeping some kind of contact. If you have the person on Facebook, make sure that every time there's a birthday, you send a happy birthday, and once in Christmas, say a note, or keeping some kind of contact, and you're going to see eventually this person that even if you didn't know that person before, you can become really close. Now, let me go back here. Even if it's people that you meet through social media, most people that are in Facebook or any other social media, they have a lot of contacts and friends. That is what is so. And the cool thing about Facebook, for example, that it tells you when the birthdays are, and then you can send a note or something to the people. But and that's one way to keep in contact with them. Now, number 4, and this is the last one, is not working with on purpose. In other words, everything that you do, you have a mindset that you're going to be networking, like joining business physical groups. The reason I say physical groups because you can join groups also in social media, and these are business groups, etc. Now, before social media, this was the prime way to actually to get in a lot of new contacts, especially business contacts. Now, today with social media groups, and these are groups in, especially I like Facebook and LinkedIn. Those two, they have a lot of groups that you can join and create a relationship, and you can even start conversation like I did one about network marketing yesterday, and it's been having great contact so far. Now, join gyms, and the reason they join gyms is because you can connect with people there. Be visible on social media, post like Zach and Eden now. Now, if some of you have been under a rock and they don't know who Zach and Eden are, they went from 4 to 7 star really quick, and their main tool is social media. If you go to isogenisbusiness.com, you can actually click on start here, and they have a whole training of Zach and Eden. It's about an hour long, and it's really powerful. Follow everything that they say, what you post, the follow-ups, everything. And I tell you, you're going to start having a lot of movement. And this is something obviously that is not on the book, because this is isogenis. Now, add friends and contacts in social media. And again, a way is going to social media groups. I have several trainings that actually cover that, that have gone through that. It's really, really powerful. And you can go to groups and say something as simple. You can post something as simple. Say, I'm looking for people that are like-minded. I love the same things that we are doing here. Anyway, let's suppose that you go to a group that is about, to have an example, women in business. And say, I would like to connect with some of you. And if you want to, you're inclined to send me a friend request. And you're going to see that if you post in an active board, you can have 5, 6, 7, 10 friend requests a day. Now, we are going to be talking about that mostly lately in another training for social media, but I'm giving you some highlights. And again, you can go to our older trainers that we have in social media, and you can find more about that. But again, add friends and contacts in social media. Find your friends in social media. Ask for referrals. This is something that I say that is a lost art. This was so important when I started network marketing in 1992. We didn't have social media. We didn't have many of the tools that we have today. Referrals were probably one of the main ways that we had to create new contacts. And now today I see that many people don't even talk about that. But referrals are really powerful, because when you are talking to somebody that was referred by somebody, usually you're going to have a person that's going to be more open-minded. Now go to shows like health shows, business shows, car shows, home shows, women shows, etc., and you go and collect cards. You don't have to have a table like many people think. You just collect cards. Most of the people that you are interested on are going to be the ones that are have a table in those shows because they are business people. They are. It's why they are there. People make the mistake that they I've seen people that they just get a table and then just talk to everybody that's coming into the table. And most people that go to these kind of shows are looking for some information, for bargains or things like that. When the real leaders, the real possible leaders, are the people that have tables. Now, do you want to prove? Well, Dave MacArthur and his wife, they have a table in a show in Las Vegas, and they were approached by somebody in my organization, and they eventually joined Isogenics, and now they're one of the millionaires. Also, Tammy Hess, she also has a show. She has a table in a show in St. George, and she was connected by one of my associates. And by the way, Tammy or Dave MacArthur, they didn't sign up right away. As a matter of fact, Tammy was it was a long process, but it was worthwhile because not only Tammy Hess is a millionaire, but she sponsored Hillary Carney, that she has in her group several millionaires. And again, they had tables. These were people that were exhibitors. That's why when you go to shows, just collect cards, and that's the people that you're going to connect with. And if you happen to have a table, just network with those people and get their card. Their business. You don't talk about the business right away. You collect card and you follow up with a call. I have a training that is called Never Run Out of Leads, that is in how to get going.com, that talks about this, what I'm talking about. But anyway, okay, let's go. Oops, stuck. Okay, and do volunteer work. It's interesting when you do volunteer work, you are going to also attract interesting people, and not only volunteer work in the sense that you are helping other people, but at the same time it's interesting because you are going to attract and connect with people that are there also, that they have mindset of working and helping other people, and that's the great idea kind of candidate for Isogenics, because as you know, the more we help others to be successful, the more successful we become. And when you find what are the motivations or the why for somebody, gosh, and then you work with them to reach that why, you can be super successful. Now, this is interesting. For every 100 people, there are 2 to 7 who are willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. Now, the reason I have 2 to 7, it depends on what environment you are moving. But if you are moving into an environment where people are, just everybody is probably 2. When it's people that you can, it's people more educated, looking for business, or people that are they are looking for personal development, etc., the numbers go up. But anyway, this is something to keep in mind. But even in either case, even if you are at 7 on 100, that means that 93 people are not going to do the things that you think they will do. 93, only 7, and this is in the best of the situations. Something else that I want to bring up is really important. Many people, when they approach people, let's suppose that let's suppose a scale, that we are at a different scale, a mindset scale. Not necessarily, we are not talking here about income scale, but mindset scale. And you are at number 7. Now, something that we tend to do is to go and find number 6. And then when you find number 6, the number 6 are going to find number 5. And number 5, they're going to find number 34, and all the way down. And then what happened? Eventually, you're getting an organization with people that they say, oh, I don't have money, or I don't believe in those things. Why? Because you are going below. The lower the number, the more excuses or the most objections you are going to have. This is important to keep in mind. The lower you go in the number, you are going to have more excuses. When you start having a lot of excuses and people say that they don't have money, you know that you're going to a really low number. And it's interesting because, again, it doesn't have to be with money, because I met people that had the money, but they don't have the mindset. And they're going to come with excuse, I don't have the money. And it's why this is the advice that Eric Worre did actually in his events. And he kind of talked a little about in the book. He said, when you, let's suppose that you're a 7 or 8 or 10 or whatever number, you are going to sponsor people like you and people that you think that they are higher numbers. Why? because then you are looking for people that are going to be thinking like you. They are not going to have the excuses that most people have, and it's why it's so important to understand this skill. I know people get nervous just thinking and they connect with certain people, and it's because if you happen to be a 7 or an 8 or something like that, and you think that that person is a 10, you feel, oh, that person is not going to listen to me. It's really important, guys, that you go and sponsor up. It's why three-way calls are so powerful, because if you don't feel comfortable, still you're going to call with your upline. Your upline, even if the upline is the number 7 that you are, he or she doesn't have a really good idea of who is the person that you're calling, and that person that your upline is going to feel more comfortable talking to them. It's why three-way calls are so powerful, especially in the follow-up. But anyway, guys, this is what today, and as you see, very simple. Is remember to read chapter 4 and start applying this right away. And now, remember this: how many leaders you must have on each leg to succeed? And I ain't talking about massive success. 700,000, only two. Now, there could be people that you personally sponsor or people that they sponsor. But the more people you connect to, the more success you will have. That's simple. That's really simple. Make sure you, again, go back to your book. Oops, I don't know what happened. Make sure you go to your book. And then if you have any questions, make sure you write the questions in the box. I'm not going to see the questions. I have to see. Alex has to tell me if there are questions or not. But Alex, are you there?
Yes, George,
Uh,
here I am.
okay, I can hear you. Cool. I don't know if you have a comment on this, but guys, make sure when this is recorded, make sure that you have your team looking at this, because it's really powerful, and understand the process. Next week we are going in skill 2, that is how to invite people, and inviting means inviting to everything, not only presentations, but also inviting to watch a video, inviting to watch your website, inviting to a webinar. It's a powerful skill. But anyway, sorry, Alex. I don't know you want to say something.
Yeah, actually, it's I love this particular slide that you have on because, it's like how many leaders you must have to succeed. And it's two. My initial experience with network marketing, I remember, building, I don't even want to say how many legs it was, but, you know, it it was certainly dozens more than the two that we need here. So we have a fantastic opportunity here. And one
Well,
thing I just wanted
Alex,
to
and the
remind
other company
everybody,
I was,
just
because, oh, sorry.
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
going to say what you're saying, and the other company I was, I had 9 centers because the way that was set up, 2 legs per center,
Oh.
18 legs. Holy cacahuate. Here you find 2 leaders, and by the way, they're
Well,
going to find
actually,
leaders too.
yeah, actually, George, in that particular company, if you had two Hillary Courtneys or two Jimmy Smiths, one on each side, you still would only be making $1,000 a week.
That's
You
right.
know, so it's the plan in Isogenics is absolutely incredible, and the bonuses are. And by the way, I want to congratulate also. There's been lots of people that have reached new levels. Wanted to congratulate Victor in Colombia for becoming executive, and uh, Roberto as well for helping him. And
He's in Colombia, correct?
just wanted This is in Colombia, yes, and that's a big deal. We've worked really hard, uh, basically there in Mexico. We also have several people from the BDP team that are close to making executive in Mexico as well. So congratulations to all of them. And of course, in North America, we have had too many people to actually mention that have had tremendous success on the team and so on. Now, uh, just wanted to remind everybody that if you have questions or comments, just go to the top right of your screen and go to the GoToWebinar control panel, look for the questions panel, and write them in there. We do have a couple of minutes left, and this is quite rare, George, that we are on time.
Yeah. Well,
Let's see here.
next week is probably going to take a little longer because the topic is really powerful, and it has some step-by-step ways to invite people. And if you have seen it, you have seen it in the book. If you have read the book and you are applying it, you already know what we are going to talk about. It's really powerful. It's interesting because I always been good at inviting people, but when I read the book and I also went to his event in November, wow, my skill went way up because there were a couple of things I was not doing. I thought I was doing amazing, and then when I found out I was missing a couple of steps, when I did those, I could see my percent of people in going to an event or watching a video or going to the website increase the percent of people. That means that you, with less work, you can have more people looking at the different events. But anyway, yeah, that book is amazing. And it's,
Yeah,
although again, next week get
and I
prepared to
tell you,
be a little longer. Make sure you have a sandwich with you, a shake or something.
yeah, some bars. I tell you one thing, Eric Worre, that second skill that you will learn about next week. I don't think that there's anybody in network marketing industry that can explain it better and make it more powerful. And I wish I had known all that we learned in that second skill from the GoPro book. So I definitely
Yeah.
urge you to get the GoPro book and attend, see how what George says, because not only has George read the book, not only has George applied the book, he was with Eric at an event, and apparently it was absolutely incredible. So good then. Yeah, George, I don't see any questions here, just comments. Uh, Favorable comments thanking you for your presentation. So, guys, then let's just wrap it up, and we look forward to seeing you next week. George, any last words?
Well, basically, by the way, last words sound like last words. I don't like that. Last words for this seminar, webinar. Well, something I was going to say is the most
I
important part, the only way that this works, all these things that we are talking about, is you have to connect, you have to act. Action. For those of you who follow me in Facebook, I post something by Anthony Robbins that say knowledge is no power. Knowledge and applied action, that is power. Knowledge is just potential power. This is the same thing. People tend to, in his book, I know a lot of people that say, oh, I read his book, but they went through the book like in one night or 2 nights, but they never apply anything. It's why it's so important when you go into skills, as soon as you go chapter 4, that's the first skill, start applying everything, and then you will know the book. It has been said that you don't know anything until you apply the knowledge that you have. And I think it's really important on this. By the way, we have 4 months to convention. It's 120 days. We are going to start at 90 days in about 3 weeks. But meanwhile, and you're going to hear more during the following weeks. But meanwhile, get ready and start connecting with people. Don't wait, because the more days you put into action, the higher it's going to be your possibilities to advance one rank or multiple ranks from here to convention. We already have seen the results that people are having in short times in isogenics, and the reason is mostly because they have inspired action. By the way, inspired action is when you believe in what you're doing, you find the why of the person, you show their why, your why, and that's inspired action. That's way more powerful, and you can attract more people, and you contact with less people when you are inspired, but you get more great results because inspire action. Not only you are inspired, but you are inspiring other ones. But anyway, guys, next week again we are going to go to skill number 2. Have to invite people. Make sure you're ready. Invite your team because it's a powerful skill to cover.